It's Willow's birthday, and everything seems perfect until a chipmunk shows up and devours the entire cake. Willow wants another one, but Horton explains that the only place to get a cake like that is from the birthday cake tree, which is at the very top of Peaky Point Mountain. Still, Horton refuses to give up. He tells Willow not to worry, he and Samson will bring back a new cake before she knows it. So Horton and Samson take off on their adventure until they suddenly hit a huge pit blocking their path. Horton spots a vine they might be able to swing across with. Just as they're about to try it, Jane appears. She wants to grab some cake for herself and Lindy LaRue, and she's not about to share. She takes over the vine and leaves Horton and Samson stranded on the wrong side. Horton digs through his backpack and finds this springy thingy. They use it to catapult themselves over the pit. Horton and Samson then run into a river full of alligators. Horton offers them sandwiches. The gators give Horton and Samson a safe ride across the river. Finally, they reach Peaky Point Mountain, and Samson somehow manages to get them both to the summit. When they finally spot the birthday cake tree, they see Jane's already been there and eaten almost all the cakes. She leaves one behind only because she couldn't reach it. Horton refuses to quit. He rallies a bunch of birds nearby, and they all start flapping together, lifting Horton and Samson up until they can finally reach the last birthday cake. They grab it and race back down the mountain just in time for Willow's party. She's over the moon when she sees her brand new cake, and Horton calls it a special cake for a special panda. To top it all off, he sets off fireworks, lighting up the sky while everyone celebrates. Part 2 picks up on a super windy day in the jungle. Horton points out the wind means it's the day of the annual kite festival and suggests they go check out some of the other kites before things officially start. But somewhere else, Jane spots a stray kite lying around and claims it as hers. She heads to Blustery Bluff, the windiest spot in the whole jungle, to test it out. Meanwhile, Leo's getting ready to try out his own kite. He asks Horton and Samson to join him as co-pilots, but then Leo sees Jane hopping away with his kite and he's crushed. Horton promises they'll help Leo get his kite back. Up at Blustery Bluff, Jane's struggling against the wind. A group of birds tries to warn her that the path is starting to crumble, but she brushes them off. When Horton, Samson, and Leo finally reach that same area, they realize the path's completely gone. Horton starts rummaging through his backpack for a solution. He finds a stack of sticky pancakes and gets an idea. Maybe they can use them to walk across the cliffside, and it actually works. They manage to cross and soon spot Jane in the distance, and Leo's kite with her. Without meaning to, Jane knocks over a pile of logs, which go tumbling straight toward Horton and the gang. Horton and the others barely dodge the logs. Jane finally makes it to the top of Blustery Bluff and gets ready to fly her new kite. Horton, Samson, and Leo show up just as she launches it. The wind goes wild, it sweeps Jane right off the cliff, and she goes spinning through the air. Samson panics, wishing he had an airplane. That sparks an idea in Horton's head. He grabs a giant leaf and turns it into a makeshift airplane, but the wind pushes them off course and they start falling. Horton keeps control, pushing through until they finally catch up to Jane and pull her to safety. Once they've rescued her, they all head back to the festival together. Horton gently reminds Jane that she took Leo's kite. Jane says that it was Lindy's idea and that Lindy says sorry. Leo's thrilled to see his kite flying high again, calling it beautiful. Samson's up in the air too, yelling that it looks even better from above. He's overjoyed because after all this time, he finally knows what it feels like to fly.